It is a profound honor to introduce the 18th Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, Administrator Mark Green. He has lived a life dedicated to public service. Mark has been a congressman for the state of Wisconsin, a U.S. ambassador to Tanzania, and the president of the International Republican Institute. Administrator Green's commitment to innovation and the grand challenge model stems precisely from his conviction that international assistance must be designed to build the capacity of others so that they can chart their own futures. So grand challenges, regardless of donor, must be truly democratic and therefore open to all, so that the intellect, the creativity of every person, of every nation, can be drawn upon to help solve the seemingly inconquerable impediments to the improvement of the human condition. With this challenge, it is a great pleasure, as we celebrate the proven record of grand challenges, I ask you to join me in welcoming the USAID Administrator, Mark Green. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Harry. Thank you. Thank you, Harry, for that kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be here with so many distinguished guests. I know you'll be hearing shortly from Secretary Tillerson. I want to thank him publicly for his great support of both USAID and Global Innovation Week. Thanks to our partners, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I understand that Bill Gates is here right now. We are deeply appreciative for the Foundation's support for the work we do, and of course, for the Grand Challenges annual meeting. The vision and the generosity of the Gates Foundation really is inspiring and truly life-saving. So let me begin with a story. In 1988, my wife and I taught secondary school in a little village in Kenya. Now that little village in those days had but one telephone, and it was a wind-up telephone attached to a wooden box in the main office of the school. If you wanted to make a long-distance call, you literally went there and turned the crank, picked up the receiver, and said something like, "Operator, give me 662 Kisumu." You'd put the receiver down, go sit outside under the mango tree, and eventually the phone would ring to tell you that your call had gone through. Not a dozen years later, I visited that same village. I was walking along a path and I saw a young boy and I said, "Do you know Neva Amutavi, one of my former students?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Can you go and get him for me?" And of course he picked up his mobile phone and called him. Only a half a dozen years later, I was an ambassador in East Africa. And my African staff were using cheap mobile phones to pay their bills, conduct small business, and make calls anywhere and everywhere. And that's the lens through which I see innovation and development and how the two must join together. Innovation is making the impossible possible, the unsolvable solvable. And nowhere is this more true than international development. In the area of global health, for example, on the islands of Zanzibar, every single week, in 53 different places, healthcare workers are sending valuable test results on malaria by text message. In West Africa, we're supporting a tropical weather forecasting company that sends daily and seasonal forecasts via text message to 320,000 users across the region so they can plan against drought and the rains. In Jordan, and democracy and governance work, thanks to the work of a small American NGO, there's a simple mobile phone application called Balditak, which means your municipality in Arabic. Balditak enables citizen communities to collect and analyze citizen feedback on local governance performance, better connecting everyday Jordanians with their elected officials. To be clear, this isn't new technology, it's old technology. What's new is that all of us in development are finally embracing the possibilities. And that's really why we're here to celebrate grand challenges. This year I want to move the goalposts just a little bit. What I'd like to do with the grand challenge that we want to talk about is to sharpen its focus on the world's staggering humanitarian assistance needs. Ladies and gentlemen, today we face the largest displacement of people since World War II. There are 66 million displaced people in the world, asylum seekers, internally displaced, and refugees. That's like the entire country of the UK suddenly going homeless. Over 20 million people in Nigeria, South Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen face life-threatening hunger. Now, America, I'm proud to say, is at the forefront of fighting these humanitarian challenges. 2 weeks ago at the United Nations General Assembly, we announced over $1 billion in additional humanitarian assistance to help millions of people affected by conflict and instability. But the reality is, as displacement and conflict grow with each passing day, there's simply not enough resources to do all that we would like to do or all that we should do. So we must find ways to be better than ever, more efficient than ever, and more effective than ever. We need new ideas and we need innovative thinking. We need you. We need you to help us think through a wide range of questions. Questions like, how can we better deliver medicine in the tropics to those in need? How do we more accurately track humanitarian assistance dollars? And how do we measure our impact? How do we educate children who are born and raised in these refugee camps? Children who come with each passing day. How do we promote more reliable, more affordable energy to displaced communities? How do we promote access to critical health innovations in conflict zones, fragile states, and displaced communities? How do we not only tend to immediate needs, but foster resilience in people and communities so they can better withstand future crisis? These are not easy questions to answer. If they were, I wouldn't be here. So in early 2018, in partnership with Grand Challenges Canada, USAID will issue its 10th Grand Challenge and its first ever Grand Challenge focusing on humanitarian assistance. Now, past Grand Challenges have helped us all tackle initiatives ranging from improving children's reading to fighting Ebola and Zika. Through these challenges, we've leveraged more than $500 million in grants and technical assistance. But of course, that's not the right measure. It's not the money, it's the results. Our Securing Water for Food Grand Challenge supports scientific and technological innovations to produce more food with less water in developing countries. This initiative has saved more than 3 billion liters of water and produced nearly 620,000 tons of food for more than 1.5 million farmers in poor regions. We also partner with the Gates Foundation to support pregnant women and newborns in poor, very hard-to-reach communities. This Saving Lives at Birth Grand Challenge has reached 1.5 million women and newborns, and yes, saved more than 10,000 lives. These are lives, but they're also hopes. They're hopes for a better future for so many people. What I've been saying since the first day I arrived at USAID is that the purpose of foreign assistance must be to end the need for its existence. I hope Global Innovation Week and these grand challenges will get us just a little bit closer to that day. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all that you've done. More importantly, thanks for all that you're going to do. Thank you.